Hello Eurovision friends, thank you so much for coming to my channel Eurovision Histories. I'm a teeny bit tired because yesterday I stayed up to watch the second semi-final of Benidorm Fest 2024. We finally have all 8 finalists for the big final tomorrow night, and in this video I will do 3 things. I will try to predict who will be the winner of Benidorm Fest 2024 and thus the Spanish representative in Eurovision.
¿Este año quién va a ir a Eurovisión?
However, I will also give you my top 8 of the songs after seeing the performances and also try to answer this question: who should Spain send to Eurovision? And while giving you my top 8, I will also try to predict how these songs would do in Eurovision if they were chosen.
¿Ganar Eurovisión? Me está complicado.
Before doing that, just in general, I think the second semi-final was much stronger than the first semi-final when it comes to the songs, the performances, but also the camera angles, and they seem to have fixed the audio issue. This is a tweet I found, which I found really funny. It says, "the sound system of this year of Benidorm Fest." And yeah, this was after the first semi-final, and it really didn't sound that great. So some of the songs in the first semi-final have it a bit harder maybe to garner support when people watch the videos, but they have another chance on Saturday to get it right, and I hope they will. Now, here's my top 8. It starts with a bit of controversy maybe, but Sofia Coll is my number 8. I had a lot of problems to get into this song from the very beginning. I just feel like the beat is very, very outdated and seems a weird combination with the verses and everything else. And this performance has not helped me to get into the song even a teeny tiny bit, because I think it's just way too over the top. The choreography is crazy over the top. The outfit, as you can see, also not that great. And to be honest, I was a bit worried that she might win like the public vote, the televote, but she did not. And so I don't think she will win Benidorm Fest. And if she were chosen to go to Eurovision, that's what you see at the bottom of the screen, I think this would be a very probable bottom 5 entry, because I just don't see the appeal, which kind of public this appeals to. And also the walking up the stairs that you could see was a bit awkward as well. The whole performance makes me feel awkward in a way. Sorry about that. I know a lot of people like it. Then number 7 for me is Miss Caffeina. Kind of surprised me because I kind of forgot about the song, or it passed me by every time I listen to the Benidorm songs. It is kind of catchy, but I still don't see a lot in the song. But I have to say the performance was extremely professional. The staging was good. The outfits are working. It's fun to watch. And so they did a really good job with this. And if this were to go to Eurovision, I do think that this has jury appeal, as we saw. They were second in the jury vote in Benidorm. And I also think that there's a part of the population, which are usually not Eurovision fans probably, who might be into this kind of song. So I think they could come 15th, but they might also be in the bottom 5. For a big 5 country that is not Italy, that's always a possibility, I would say, unfortunately. Then a bit of a negative surprise, unfortunately for me, was Almacor. His song is the one that I thought might be the right choice for Spain to get them some Eurovision success, because it's the most current sounding song, and it still is. It sounds like something that's on the charts. The performance is kind of good too. The special effect is not something we haven't seen before, but it kind of adds to the performance, the televote appeal especially. He's very energetic, and I think that's good. Maybe tone it down a little bit. But the big problem here, obviously, are the vocals. I mean, it was kind of painful to see a song that you really, really like being performed like that. He won the press vote with like 90% of the vote. I don't really understand how that happened exactly. Maybe it was just a bad night and he sang better in rehearsals or something. I don't know. But he really has to improve the vocals if he wants to have any chance of success. If this is actually chosen for Eurovision and performed like this, it will probably be a bottom 5 entry. I thought it might get some televote support because of the energy and because of the current sound, maybe even some jury votes, but it's not enough to get into on the left-hand side of the scoreboard. I always have to think whether it's left or right. Then in 5th place, a bit controversial again, Jorge Gonzalez. Obviously, he looks really, really good doing this. It's a slick performance, but He, in the intro, said that he wanted to be basically the male Chanel. He mentioned the Chanelazo. He also said that it would be like a video clip on stage. And while it is very good, I don't think it's any of that. It is not a Chanel level performance to me, because I think there are just too many elements that are a bit too over the top. And then also a few elements that are too subdued, like the dance break where he does the kind of karate moves. I don't really think that's very impressive. Chanel did like acrobatics that no one could ever do. Obviously, he does it well, and he sings well while doing it, which is great. But I just don't think it's the kind of performance that can really go to Eurovision and be very successful. That is why my prediction is kind of 17th to 26th. I would not compare this to Chanel. I would more compare it to some Israeli entries that ended up in like 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th place, depending on how good they sang. Because I also think that the jury, we saw that in Benidorm, would not go for this in Eurovision, I don't think. So I would not send this to Eurovision if I were Spain. There was a bit commotion when the jury announced their votes, because he was only 6th, I think, in the jury votes. I get that they like the performance, but they really have to respect the jury. And I have to say, in this case, I'm really glad that the jury is there. And I also want to remind people that the Spanish public did not actually want to send Chanel to Eurovision, who in the end came 3rd for them. So maybe the jury might have a point with some of their votes. Then in 4th position, another one that is a bit of a positive surprise. I always thought that this song sounded a bit old-fashioned, a bit early 2000s, and it still kind of does, but the performance is great. She really emotes with the song. She makes you feel the song. She's obviously an actress. There's this wonderful moment where during the entire song, the dancers have these caps on. They take it off and they embrace her. And you just see on her face that she knows who she is. That's the name of the song. That's a beautiful moment. You see that she's an actress. And great, great performance. The vocals sounded a bit problematic, but that might have been because of the audio, because I do think that she's a good singer. And I hope for a better vocal in the final. If this went to Eurovision, again, I think 15 to 26 is the best this could hope for, because the song itself is just not earned enough. I wish that she had a better song, because she's really a great performer. Then in 3rd place is Nebulossa with their song Sora. Again, I have to mention, it's very funny to me that RTVE had this commercial in the corner of the screen for Zorro, which is a show about a strong, cool dude, and they want people to watch it, while they also have a song called Sora in the semi-final and now in the final, which is about, you know, a woman living her life, even though they call her Sora, which is a very negative term for a woman in Spanish. And this kind of shows the sexism in this term, that Sora for a woman is something very bad, and Soro for a man is something really cool. Anyway, this whole story of the song, which I love, doesn't really come across in the staging, I don't think. I do like the staging. It made me laugh when the dancers took a lot of things off and they kind of danced around. I thought, wow, Sam Smith joined Benidorm this year. Of course, camp, over the top, cheesy, but a song like this needs that as well. But I would have liked to see a bit more of the story being told. Also, if this is the performance that they would do in Eurovision, I just think that people, and that's why this is my prediction, wouldn't quite get what the song is about, unfortunately. But I really enjoyed it. And I still love the song as a song, but the performance might have been a bit more streamlined to tell us what the song is about. Now, in 2nd place, you know that I love her. I did an interpretation of her song. Check it out if you haven't seen that yet. It's the best lyrics of any song in any national final this year and probably for the last couple of years. Full of meaning and symbolism, and the performance kind of does that as well. I love that she starts with the guitar. I like the male dancers running. There's a lot of dynamics because of the dancers. The way they fall back at the end of the song, almost like they're being shot or like freedom is dying. All the crosses, a lot of symbolism in this performance, and she really does that amazingly well. The vocals were good as well. There were a few shaky moments, for example, in the cinematic moment where the dancers are around her and they're all shaking, and you kind of feel the franticness that the song is also about, because it's about the Spanish Civil War, about freedom going away, and that really is helped by this, but it kind of hurt her vocal performance a little bit. I think she can improve that in the final, but overall, this is my second favorite. And I really love her. I've been listening to other songs of hers, which I really like as well. For Eurovision, however, I think that this would do a bit better than Blanca Paloma, especially with the televote, because I think it's just more instant and more accessible. But I don't think that this would do better than 15th, even though me personally, I would be so happy if this went to Eurovision just for my own entertainment and enjoyment. But for Spain doing well, maybe not the right choice. Now you know what my number one is. It is San Pedro. I have warmed to the song quite a lot. I now think that it's a very sweet bolero, beautiful lyrics, very understated, and that is great. Spain is in the Big Five, so they are automatically in the final. They don't have to qualify from the televote-only semifinals. And in a final that might be very loud if we see the songs that have been chosen and the songs that are favorites to win their national finals. It might be a very loud Eurovision this year, and a song like this might be able to stand out quite a lot. That is the positive side of things. I think that the staging and the performance left a lot to be desired, and still it's my number one. That tells you how good I think it is. I think that the general idea of the staging, to have these shadows, the women dancing in the background, signifying his memories of the relationship that is now over, makes a lot of sense. However, they kind of dance way too much and way too happily in a way. And I found a lot of fun tweets about this as well. Like, he sings about, we're two strangers parting ways, now we're two strangers, and meanwhile the ladies are dancing like crazy in the boxes behind him. Not sure about that. Also not sure about the rose. That's a bit cliche to me. And I also think that there's too much walking and yeah, too much distraction. I think we need more close-ups of his face to feel the emotion. He has to open his eyes more. There's one shot where the camera kind of pans in while he does the big note. That is amazing, and we need more of that and just a more intimate staging. And then this, I think, could really work. First, I think, or top five, really only if they get the staging 100% right. He said in the press conference after the semifinal that he will probably not change the staging if he goes to Eurovision, because he's very happy with it. Fine. But then I don't think it will be a win. And all the stars have to align. There have to be a lot of loud songs in the final for it to do well. And people must be in the mood for a song like that. But then I really do think that this is the best choice for Spain. And so the first question I had, who should Spain send to Eurovision? I would answer with San Pedro. Definitely, because he just stands out so much, and also the other songs are good, but they all have one or two things that make me think that they wouldn't do too well in Europe. But what I think would be best and what Spanish people will do, and the jury, might be two very different things. So I want to tell you what I think might happen at Benidorm Fest. We now know the running order, which is a bit strange to me because a lot of the favorites are very early on. It's only 8 songs, so the running order isn't that important, but still. And you have the two slowest songs, María Peláe and San Pedro, first and second. That might hurt San Pedro a little bit. So let's see. I think there are 4 songs that Spanish people could go for. We obviously already know the results of the first and the second semifinal, which I think is a bit weird because it takes away a bit of the excitement. But okay. It's a choice that they have made 3 years ago, and they have stuck with it. I think there are 4 possible winners because they were the most successful in the 2 semifinals, and these are Nebulossa, Angy Fernandez, San Pedro, and Jorge Gonzalez. With the jury, Nebulossa won the first semifinal, and Angy Fernandez came third. Second was Miss Caffeina, but they kind of didn't do well in the televote and the demoscopic vote, so I did not include them here. And then San Pedro obviously won The second semi-final with the highest point total, 92 points. However, Nebulossa had over 80 as well, which is good. And then Jorge Gonzalez came sixth only with the juries in the second semi-final. He got 42 points by the jury, which is the lowest jury score for any finalists in Benidorm Fest. And that is a big challenge to overcome. I hope that the judges are not convinced by the pressure that you felt in the hall when they announced these votes, because I think they're right about this, to be honest. Then when we look at the demoscopic vote, which is supposed to represent Spain, that's why I chose a Spanish map, Nebulossa came second in the first semifinal and Angy Fernandez won the demoscopic vote. San Pedro came second in the second semifinal and Jorge Gonzalez won that vote. And then if we look at the televote, Nebulossa only came third, which is a bit surprising to me, and Angy Fernandez second. And that is, of course, because Mantra, who aren't even in the final, came first in the televote. So second and third here might be first and second now. And then San Pedro came second with the televote in the second semifinal, and Jorge Gonzalez won that. So if you look at this, you might think, well, San Pedro has great jury support, 92 points, second in the demoscopic vote, second in the televote, so he has the best starting position, so to speak, especially because of the very high jury points. However, Nebulossa also got 84 points from the juries, which is really high. However, I do think that the second semifinal was stronger than the first, so when they are all together, the jury points might be more distributed. What I could see happening, and that's the only scenario really where I don't see San Pedro win, is that he gets pushed down in the demoscopic and the televote by Angy Fernandez and Nebulossa. So you have San Pedro winning the jury vote, Jorge Gonzalez winning televote and demoscopic vote, and then second is Nebulossa or Angy Fernandez, third is Nebulossa and Angy Fernandez, and San Pedro is only in fourth position. And then he really needs a very big difference between him and Jorge Gonzalez in the jury vote to actually win. But in the end, my prediction stays the same. I think San Pedro has the best chance to win, followed by, I would think, Nebulossa, because I do think that they have a good televote appeal in the end, and they have gotten a lot of points from the juries. And then third, maybe Jorge Gonzalez, and fourth, Angy Fernandez. But I do see a kind of upset victory for Jorge Gonzalez, which I think is not a good thing for Spain in Eurovision, to be honest. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who will win Benidorm? Which are your top 8? And who do you think would have the best chance for Spain in Eurovision? Please subscribe to this channel. I will do a rating video of whoever wins Benidorm Fest on Sunday. And I hope you look forward to that. And I'll see you for my next video. See you then, and bye-bye.